Welcome back, listener. Today we are getting into a topic that is, it's both universal and just incredibly complex. The psychology of attraction and intimacy.
It really is. And the source material we're working with for this deep dive is, well, it's fascinatingly polarized.
Polarized is the right word. On one side, you have these highly prescriptive, almost clinical breakdowns of seduction strategies, the real how-to of generating pursuit.
And then on the other side, you get the nuanced, really complex reality of long-term connection, sustained desire, all drawn from the work of expert relationship therapists.
Exactly. And that contrast, the game versus let's call it the foundation, that's what we're here to map out.
Right. The content we processed, it ranges from these specific online videos talking about what they call female weaknesses and covert signals of lust, all the way to really profound therapeutic work.
The kind of work that focuses on the sheer overload we put on modern relationships, the challenge of, keeping desire alive for decades.
And navigating conflict. So our mission here is neutrality. We're just going to map the psychological triggers and hidden signals that one side claims create attraction.
And then we'll balance that map with the principles that seem to be required for genuine, lasting relational intelligence. The goal is for you to walk away well-informed, not overwhelmed.
Yeah, you should understand both the surface game of attraction and the deeper mechanics of intimacy.
And what becomes clear almost immediately is that whether you're looking at the short game of attraction or the long game of commitment, it all comes down to managing the perception of value.
Value and availability. That's the core lever in both systems. It's just, applied in very different ways.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're starting with the claim. The specific psychological levers that these sources say can instantly create intense attraction and pursuit, often supposedly bypassing rational thought completely.
So we begin with this concept that the prescriptive sources label the approval vacuum.
The approval vacuum, okay.
Yeah. The central claim is that women have this sort of addiction to male validation, but, this is the key, that validation is only effective when it's deliberately withheld.
Right. So any freely given approval, according to this model, is just considered worthless.
Worthless. Because it's abundant, it's unearned, but scarce selective approval that's framed as priceless.
And this is where the strategy comes in.
Exactly. The supposed psychological weakness is that women can't help pursuing validation from men who make them work for it. That pursuit, that effort to earn approval,
that creates the investment.
It creates the psychological investment, and that investment, in turn, creates the attraction. So the moment a man starts approving of everything, he loses his value. If he's selective, he becomes more precious.
I have to pause there. It sounds like this entire system is built on the idea that the quickest way to show you have high value is to show you have low availability.
That's it. It's a pure application of supply and demand to human emotion.
And the source material really emphasizes this is all instinctive, not conscious.
Yes, and it's dramatically amplified by status. Which brings us right to social proof.
Which is another huge factor these sources lean on. Pre-selection. The idea that when a woman sees other women showing interest in you, flirting, laughing at your jokes, just standing near you, it signals that you're a high-value commodity.
They call it a herd mentality and claim the attraction intensifies regardless of any rational thought. It supposedly triggers a competitive drive to secure the high-value item.
And that idea of perceived value, it extends directly to competence, right?
It does. We see this concept they call capability attraction. So demonstrating mastery in any domain. It could be fixing a car, solving a complex problem at work, even just being good at a hobby.
It signals overall competence.
Exactly. It's less about the specific skill and more about the simple fact that you are competent at something. It's interpreted as a guarantee of success and capability across the board.
I see. So the attraction is triggered more by your position in a social hierarchy, high status, being the center of a group, than by, say, being a kind person.
That's the argument. They root it in an evolutionary drive for a partner who can acquire resources and solve problems. They literally label it an evolutionary weakness.
That's pretty intense material.
And it ties directly into the next theme, which is decisive leadership. The sources claim that men who lead decisively making decisions without asking for permission or constantly seeking input are intensely attractive.
Wait, what does decisive leadership look like on a Sunday afternoon? Does this mean being demanding?
Not demanding, more like defining the frame. According to these sources, constantly deferring decisions, always asking, where do you want to eat? What do you want to do? It forces the woman into what they call masculine leadership mode.
And the claim is that putting her in that decision-making role just kills her attraction.
Kills it, both sexually and relationally.
So when a man says, I've got the reservations, we're going here, the idea is that it allows the woman to relax into a more receptive, feminine space. I can see the psychological appeal of having the burden of choice taken away.
Precisely. And for older men, this kind of leadership, when it's coupled with, emotional self-sufficiency and real competence earned over decades, it's presented as a huge sexual advantage. It signals genuine status.
So if we synthesize all this prescriptive advice, it's pretty straightforward. Stop chasing. Stop trying to impress. Instead, you're supposed to embody the prize.
And you do that by maintaining independence, having standards, and being strategically unpredictable. Vary your response times, maintain boundaries on availability, keep things uncertain.
Because unpredictable rewards, as the sources argue, are just inherently more addictive than predictable ones.
It's fascinating how much this initial game relies on controlling information and managing that scarcity. But we need to shift from external performance to hidden signals.
Right, because the sources next turn to the private, often concealed reality of female desire.
And the argument here is that women communicate interest through a really sophisticated range of covert signals, verbal, nonverbal, physical, specifically to maintain plausible deniability, in case they decide to pull back.
This is where the decoding gets really niche. And interesting, we're talking about women using phrases that apparently mean the exact opposite of their surface meaning, like the hesitation loop.
Yes. Phrases like, I'm not usually like this, or we shouldn't do this. The idea is they're used to maintain her own self-narrative of being thoughtful and in control.
So the key for the man is to respond calmly to the subtext. Acknowledge her thoughtfulness, but don't pressure her to stop. Show you have non-anxious confidence.
And my personal favorite, the invitation disguise.
Ah, yes. The domestic incompetence cue.
Exactly. Something like saying she's bad at cooking while, casually mentioning she has ingredients at her apartment. The sources explicitly note that as a cover for a sexual invitation.
A way to create proximity in a private setting while giving her complete plausible deniability. That's a next level interpretation of, let's get a frozen pizza.
It says a lot about the perceived social cost of just expressing desire directly. And then there's the comfort checkpoint.
When she says, I feel so safe with you, or I feel so comfortable with you.
Right, the logic is simple. Safety and comfort are the absolute prerequisites for vulnerability and arousal. So, stating that comfort is like a green light, it signals the main barrier to intimacy is gone.
And on the physical side, the body apparently betrays intense desire through involuntary responses. One of the more startling examples given is the restless leg signal.
According to this material, if a woman is constantly shifting, crossing her legs, or squeezing her thighs together while sitting with you, it's interpreted as her trying to manage the internal physical sensation of overwhelming desire.
Like an involuntary attempt to contain it.
That's the claim. Definitely not something you discuss at a book club.
And what about the neck exposure and cooling? Pulling her hair up, fanning herself.
That's described as an instinctive response to rising body temperature caused by deep desire. It communicates an internal heat that she might not even be consciously aware she's displaying.
And all these involuntary signals, the sources argue, they all support this so-called forbidden truth.
Which is that female lust is as raw, primal, and physical as male lust. But it's hidden for social power and to avoid judgment.
This desire is framed as being so powerful that the sources even try to identify permanent scars from past experiences.
Yes, like the detachment reflex, learning to give the body without the heart during intimacy, or chronic validation hunger, obsessively seeking male approval online.
And these are presented as signs that a history of casual encounters has, in their words, damaged her.
Which brings us to a strategy for managing these dynamics. If you encounter a woman who is using provocative display, maybe seeking that narcissistic supply, the sources advise a counter game. They call it the 3-step trap.
And the intent here is just pure status control, isn't it? It's all about signaling that you are not controlled by desire.
Exactly. So the technique is, 1, you look directly at the display and say she's not wearing a bra for just 1.5 seconds without lust, like an art connoisseur. 2, you immediately return to the conversation like nothing happened. And then finally, number 3, much later, you offer a comment that shows complete non-reactive awareness. Something like, you have excellent taste, not just in clothes.
The goal is to make it clear you saw everything, but you remained completely unswayed by it, unmanipulated.
It's a strategy focused entirely on demonstrating self-possession and high status.
But if all of this strategic maneuvering is the short game, then what happens when those games just inevitably fail or become exhausting to maintain?
That's where the relational material comes in, and it offers a dramatic shift in perspective. While strategy might get your foot in the door, the material from relationship therapy has a very different view on what makes a connection last.
It seems to emphasize emotional depth, curiosity, managing complexity.
Right. And what's fascinating here is the sheer, overwhelming weight we put on modern relationships.
I mean, the therapeutic sources note this. The ideology of love today expects us to get everything. Best friend, confidant, therapist, passionate lover, soulmate, all from one person.
We are asking one person to provide what an entire village once did.
And that massive weight is what causes so many relationships to just crumble. Because the pressure kills the very mystery you need for sustained desire.
Desire is killed by the cozy and familiar. The sources say if you want to feel alive, you have to introduce risk and novelty.
So how do you inject novelty without just resorting to chaos?
It means creating situations where you meet your partner and yourself in a new context. It could be travel, new shared activity, or, crucially, revealing a vulnerability you've always held back. It's about replacing the certainty of routine with exploration.
And that ties directly to maintaining individual space, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. The therapeutic sources highlight that intense fusion where partners become undifferentiated. It eliminates the magnetic pull of desire. You need your own interests, your own friends.
That creates the necessary mystery. It fuels what they call the erotic self, the part of you that's playful and responsive.
And this focus on exploration is why communication shifts so dramatically. It goes from games to genuine curiosity. The advice is to ask deep, non-aggressive questions to build real intimacy.
They mention the trust projection question, which is, it's a genius technique for bypassing defenses.
It is. Instead of demanding to know her needs, you make them hypothetical. You ask, if you were with someone who made you feel completely safe, what would you want them to know about what you need?
By phrasing it that way, she can express deep needs safely, and her mind just naturally projects you, the listener, into the role of the person who can fulfill them.
And that emotional safety, the feeling of being truly seen and understood, that's a powerful trigger for attraction that follows connection, rather than coming before it through tactics.
On the flip side, these sources are also very clear about what a man should not do to maintain self-respect and lasting attraction, the non-negotiable boundaries.
Absolutely essential. First,
Yeah.
do not let a woman control you by weaponizing sex, rewarding you when you comply and withholding when you don't. That destroys the power balance.
And do not tolerate disrespect. The advice is to address the very first sign of trouble, or you leave silently with confidence.
Because that first sign of disrespect, if you let it slide, it becomes the floor for all future behavior.
And finally, don't let her control the relationship framework. Constantly deferring decisions, letting her organize your entire social life, it sets her up for what they call mother mode.
And that shifts the dynamic from passionate partner to organizational lead. The sources are uniform on this. It leads to a rapid loss of instinctual sexual craving. The partner who sets the frame maintains the role of the desirable man.
So this deep dive, it's shown us the two sides of the relational coin. On one hand, you've got the tactical side, all about leveraging scarcity and status to generate lust.
And on the other, the relational side, focused on cultivating safety, depth, and curiosity for sustained desire.
But what's fascinating is where these two, seemingly polarized paths actually converge.
Right. Whether you're applying a strategic forbidden rule or asking a deep, vulnerable question, the power comes from the same core foundation: genuine independence, earned competence, and emotional steadiness.
Performance of status without real presence, that eventually leads to burnout and rejection.
Whereas real self-sufficiency creates the gravity that naturally draws women in, whether it's for a night or for a lifetime.
We noted earlier the high expectation in modern love asking one person to provide what an entire village once did. So in light of the emphasis we've discussed on individuation maintaining a powerful self outside the relationship to fuel desire.
And the focus on the value of external social connections, like friendships, the constancy and reflection they provide.
We're left with a question for you to consider. If true independence is the ultimate key to attracting and maintaining desire, how much responsibility does separating your emotional fulfillment from your romantic partner truly hold for the aliveness and health of your primary intimate relationship?
Is reliance on your village the secret to making your partner feel less like a crutch and more like a chosen co-adventurer.
Keep that curiosity alive.